सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् Okay, let me just make sure the volume and all is correct. Okay.
Umaji, I'm sorry, I can barely hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
The volume is very low.
Okay, how about now?
This is a little better.
Little better, only little better.
Not
That,
as normal.
that's weird because I didn't
आप थोड़ा
everything.
उसके पास आ जाएं.
Okay.
Sorry, I hope you don't
No,
mind.
no. It's very important that otherwise class का फिर ठीक से
बस
होएगी नहीं.
रिकॉर्डिंग भी ऑन कर देना.
हाँ, recording on. अच्छा, अब कैसे सुन रहा है?
हाँ, better.
Okay. So I'll just keep the computer closer and I just make my volume higher. And if in between अगर कुछ ऐसे problem हो तो बताना मुझे, so we can try to adjust. So okay.
Namaskar, everybody.
Namaskar.
Here's the late Latif. Namaskar. Namaskar. Hello, Shireen.
Okay, so we were. Everybody, can you please put yourself at mute now? We were finished verse 33 of Bhagavad Gita, and we are at verse 34. So in verse 33, Krishna Bhagwan said, even a wise man acts in accordance with his own nature. Beings follow their own nature. What can restraint do? So it almost sounds a little despair, hey, what can anybody do if your own nature is so strong? तुम्हारा जो temperament है, तुम्हारी वासना जो है. So then the question comes, then what is person supposed to do? How do we? So what Chinmayananji explains that, in Bhagavad Gita, it's like a problem is given, but then a solution is given immediately. Because the solution is not given, then we are like stuck. Okay? So the solution is already given. And I always say with Bhagavad Gita, we have to have a lot of patience because it's not like in 1 minute we are going to learn everything. So it's a slowly, you have the foundation, you keep remembering what he told you and then build upon it. Because otherwise, kya hota hai ki, yes, questions might come, but if we just take that adha kacha gyan, then it's going to be a problem. So it's very important to stick with it. At least एक बार तो पूरी कर लेनी चाहिए, because उसके बाद we can go back and rehash everything. So if you do have a question and you don't get a satisfactory answer, just have patience. It will come. I guarantee it will come. But it takes time and patience. And another thing I want to say is with Bhagavad Gita, you have to have a very large heart. You have to have an open mind. Whatever ideas we have been stuck with in the past, you have to let it go, because otherwise what happens is anytime some new idea comes, then no, this is not true because I have heard this. Or so if you want to really get something good out of Bhagavad Gita from experience, I can tell you that even though it may sound outlandish, but if Krishna Bhagwan is saying if Arjun is asking that question, if Chinmayananji is saying something, and if some great Mahatmas are saying, we have to contemplate and believe in it, have Shraddha, and then move forward and not resist it constantly, because then we will not move forward. So, with that, now let's see what Krishna Bhagwan says over here in 34. Everybody can hear me now? Okay, good. So 34, I'm going to chant. Indriyasyarthe ragadvaisho vyavastito tayor navashama gachet tau hyasa paripanthino. Indriyasya, of the senses. Indriyasya again, of the senses. Arthe, in the object. Raga dvaisho, attachment and aversion. Vyavasthitau, seated. Tayo, of these two. No, not. Vasham, sway. Agachet, should come under. Tau, those two. He is verily. Asya is his. Paripanthino is foes. Paripanthino actually means roadside robber. पंथ यानी रास्ता पुराने ज़माने में जब कोई सुनसान रास्ते पे जाते थे तो कोई वो डाकू टाइप के लोग आके और वो यात्रियों को लूटते थे, उसको परिपंथिनो बोलते हैं. बिकॉज दिस वर्ड इज very, very significant, and we'll see how over here. Okay, so one second. Okay, so now in the previous verse he said ki we have a certain nature, inborn nature, that's very strong and it's very hard to change it. And so now the question is, what is he talking about? What nature it is? And we have discussed it, but I will rehash it now. It's basically our nature when we are born with because of our previous lives, impressions of the previous life. And how do we know what kind of nature I have? उसका जब इफेक्ट होता है ना, उससे मुझे मालूम पड़ता है. And वो इफेक्ट क्या है? Effect is my likes and dislikes. All of us here in this class, we have certain likes and certain dislikes. None of us are, same. Even food or what kind of weather we like, everything, just name it. So where is that coming from? Even though we are made from the same 5 tattvas, it's coming from those impressions of the past. So, and these likes and dislikes, they exactly what it is when my indriyas, all the 5 indriyas that I have, my sense organs, the way they react to the world. That transaction it represents the likes and dislikes. Like some people like sunrise, some people like sunset, and things like that. So when I see something, does it give me joy or sorrow? And usually what happens is that जो हमको चीज़ें अच्छी लगती है ना, we just want to be with that, and जो हमें अच्छी नहीं लगती है, लगता है दूर भाग जाए हमसे. So स्वामी जी कहते हैं पूरी लाइफ हम इसी में बिता देते हैं. जो चीज़ें अच्छी लगती है उसको खींच के पास में लाने के लिए, और जो नहीं लगती है उसको. And he actually, at one of the lectures, he said, it's like you reject the 50% of the world immediately. It's like, I thought that was such an interesting way of looking at it, So this likes and dislike, when a baby is born, baby has it too. Because that we've all had children, and a lot of you have grandchildren and all that. So कोई कहता है कि baby, certain temperature they like, or light चालू रखो तो सो जाता है, and I don't know what to do, all those things. So food, you remember, or maybe now that you have grandchildren, उनको नहीं पसंद होएगा तो कितना भी मुंह में थूक देंगे वो लोग. छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, they will not eat, and जो पसंद होएगा वो गप गप करके खा जाएंगे. So we know that it's not that they have kind of उनको बहुत विचार किया उन्होंने कि भाई मेरे को क्या पसंद है और क्या नहीं है. It's just inborn. So the conclusion is that everybody has likes and dislikes. You cannot get away from it. If you're born in this body, on this earth, you are going to have likes and dislikes. Does that mean we are totally helpless? That's what he's going to tell you what to do. So so when people say ki, just drop your likes and dislikes, it's very impractical. Because you cannot live without that, because it's going to be there, but you can manage it. And in what context you manage it, that we are going to see. Okay? So he says the solution is that you don't come under its sway. That's the word he used. Uske vash mein nahi aa jao. There is that word, vashma gacchato, means don't come under its sway or rise above it. And we kind of do it all the time. Suppose if I want to, I love to sleep late. Or here, just now we were saying, oh, coming late to the class or something. There could be a good reason and there could be just a bad habit. But if I determine myself, hey, there's something I'm going to do consciously because this is the right thing to do, I will make an effort towards it. But that's where that human intellect comes in play, that you don't go by your what feels good kind of thing, because you're born with those likes and dislikes. So certain things are going to feel good, but to kind of change it because what is right thing to do. So stay in that higher mind, stay in your higher intelligence. So that's what he's saying. Don't come under its sway, So what happens with likes and dislikes? Yes, we can suppress them to a certain extent. We can even create artificial likes and dislikes. And sometimes, people do that for wrong reasons, like for peer pressure में कर देंगे, ओ सभी को ये अच्छा लग रहा है तो फिर I'm going to do this too, चाहे मुझे बुरा लग रहा हो वो करने में, but you do peer. So that kind of thing can also happen. Or, parents sometimes push certain things on the children and, they do it. So that is one, but actually knowing what is right thing to do yourself and then try not to come under the sway, that's what he's talking about. So it's very important to understand that what distinction he tell you. He's not telling to get rid of the likes and dislikes, because that's not going to happen, because the nature is very strong, not come under its sway. This is because this thing we'll all have to remember when we move forward in Bhagavad Gita, because otherwise, if you suppress it too much without understanding, then एक दिन वो ज्वालामुखी की तरह फट जाता है, and you don't want that to happen. So it's more like, with contemplation, with understanding, and with those kind of things. So how do I not come under the sway? I should know my swadharma, meaning I should know my duty. So in my line of my duty, once I determine this is what I need to do in my life, then you become steadfast on it. And then if likes and dislikes should not matter. So that should be the anchor, because कुछ चाहिए ना anchor, that क्यों मैं करूँ ऐसा. So like this one of the Swamis, he explained that when we have our duties and we are going on the path, so there could be certain things that come under our way that we like, and it is in line with our duty. So by all means enjoy it thoroughly. Nobody's saying don't enjoy it. Suppose in that line of duty certain things come that I don't like, that's where he's saying that endure it. That's where that word titiksha is there. Because even though I go with my prakriti and I choose my path in my life and I'm steadfast in it, we all know at our age that things come in our life that we don't like. It's like, raising children. There are great joys and there are a lot of pain also in that. So it's like, hey, but I got to do this. So I'm steadfast and I just continue, That's what he's talking about. Basically, like, tolerating it and staying on the path and not swaying, not losing sight of your path. And I think one of the examples, one of the Swami gave was really nice one. That suppose if we want to, this is more applicable on Indian roads. Huh? Here we are very spoilt in America. Everything is pretty cool. You can travel from east to west, with no problem. India, may suppose if I want to go to a particular temple and it's 2 hours away and there is one road that goes and I'm on that road and I want to reach the temple, और रास्ते में एकदम ऊबड़ खाबड़ रास्ता आ गया, अगर मुझे वहाँ पहुँचना है तो मुझे वो रहना ही पड़ेगा उस पाथ के ऊपर. आई कैन नॉट से ओ ये रास्ता बहुत खराब है, आई वांट टू टेक दैट अदर रास्ता बिकॉज इट्स वेरी गुड, सो आई विल गो देयर, बट देन यू वोंट रीच द गोल. दैट्स व्हाट ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. सो इफ यू वांट टू रीच अ गोल, देन अगर वो चाहे स्मूथ रास्ता हो, ऊबड़ खाबड़ हो, कुछ भी हो, you just stay on it. I thought that was a very beautiful example that he gave. So let's look at Arjun now. Obviously, Krishna Bhagavan is addressing Arjun right now. Arjun wanted to run away from this war. Arjun was a Kshatriya, great warrior. Whole life he has kind of trained for it. अगर कोई war की बात आती है, सबसे पहले खड़ा हो जाता था लड़ने के लिए, right? especially war which is unjust, like not unjust means fighting against the unjust, what I meant. तो ऐसा कोई वॉर होएगा तो सबसे पहले कूद के खड़ा होएगा, बोलेगा मैं जाऊंगा, और बिकॉज ही सो एंथुजियास्टिक अबाउट इट, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट ही इज गुड फॉर, यू नो, दैट वाज ही ट्रेन फॉर. अभी ये वॉर आया तो सडनली जो मोह उसको हो गया, ही डोंट वांट टू फाइट. See that how why? Because his relatives were there, and like it looks like an easier path to just run away from there. He didn't want to be steadfast in his duty. All these wars in the past, he jumped and fought, but now this has come and he doesn't want to. That's what he's talking about, Krishna Bhagwan. That in line of your duty, you're doing it, everything happily, you know, some situation comes, it is in line of your duty, but it's very uncomfortable to do. That's when he's telling you, get over your likes and dislikes. That, you know, don't come under the sway. And in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he was coming under the sway of his likes, and who would want to do a heinous job like that? But unfortunately, it had come in the line of his duty. So that's what it is he's talking about. So idea is chalte raho bas, you know, apni duty ke upar, and not worry about it. And now another very important thing is about this word I told you about, paripanthino, is roadside robbers. So उन्होंने क्या कहा कि ये जो राग द्वेष है ना, ये तुम्हारी इंद्रियों पे रहते हैं, right? I said, no, how it manifests is from your indriyas, how you transact with the world. So rag dvesh reside literally in your indriyas, and then he's going to actually go into much more detail in the science of it, of likes and dislikes. But at least for this particular verse, we'll just stick with this. They are like roadside robber. So roadside robber क्या करते हैं, हम चले आराम से जा रहे हैं कहीं, हाँ, बड़े आनंद से, suddenly वो आके pounce upon you. See that? So now see the role of likes and dislikes. You are very nicely going on your path, on your karma yoga path. कहीं से वो कूद जाएंगे तुम्हारे ऊपर, he's saying, और तुमको पाथ से भटका देंगे. That's what he's telling you. फिर कोई रोड साइड रॉबर का हम भाग जाएंगे ना वहाँ से, तो भटक गए ना हम लोग. So suddenly pounce किया without even thinking, and उसके sway में तुम आ गए. That's where गड़बड़ हो जाता है. You know, so because the impressions are too deep in us. And one of the examples I can think of is, you know, कोई बुरा व्यसन हो किसी को, like say somebody has become complete drunkard. You know, he has alcoholic problem, can't stop drinking, and now he is determined, I'm not going to drink. And then for 5 years, he's clean. And one day he goes to a party where everybody is drinking, and wo paripanthino, those roadside robbers, his likes and dislikes have jumped on him, and then he slips. So that's what he's talking about. That they suddenly come. So what is the solution over here? You have to be alert, according to Krishna Bhagwan. If once you know you're kind of have an idea about your likes and dislikes, and you know your path, you have to be alert. That's the advice he's giving over here. Okay? So question is that even after knowing what can I do, then he's going to go to the next verse, but we will wait for that. But this particular thing, did you guys understand what I'm saying over here? And anybody has any question about it before we read Swamiji's commentary? Question, comment, you want to add a point? Clear? Okay. So who wants to read? Smriti ji.
Attachment and aversion for the objects of the senses abide in the senses. Let none come under their sway, for they are his foes. In the last stanza, it is said that even a man well read in the Shastras cannot easily follow the highly ethical life, which is demanded of a spiritual seeker because his lower nature proves too strong for him. Prescribing a medicine which is not available, is not the art of healing. It is the philosopher's duty not only to indicate the weaknesses in our present life and the state of perfection, but he must also show us ways and means by which we can transport ourselves from our weaknesses into this ideal state of perfection. Then, and then alone, can the philosopher bless his generation.
So here, whatever I had mentioned, that it's like you tell a problem, but if you don't tell the solution, then what's the point? So last verse में कृष्ण भगवान ने बोला, yes, it is a problem that our nature is very strong, but here he's giving you a solution. That's what Krishna Bhagavan is saying. I mean, that's what Swamiji is saying. Sorry,
Krishna indicates here the great robber in the within of man, which loots away the true joys and thrills of right living. Attachments and aversions of the sense organs for their respective sense objects are instinctive and are incapable of bringing any wave of sorrow or agitation into the within. We get agitated and disturbed not by our sense organs, but in our mind. The mind gets disturbed because when the stimuli reach the mind, it accepts it. It accepts in its inherent mischief certain types of stimuli as good and their opposites as bad. Thereafter, it gets attached to the stimuli it experiences as good and develops an aversion for the opposite type of stimuli. Now, the mind is prepared to suffer the agonies of existence in the sorrowful plurality. Whenever it comes in contact with the infinite number of objects outside, it pants to court the things of its own attachment and labors to run away from the things of its own aversion. This excitement of the mind is truly its tragic.
So here he's talking about what happens with likes and dislikes, that things that we, like I already said, that things that we want, we kind of run towards it, and things we don't want, we push or run away from it again. So see, if you want to go on a path और like से dislike आ जाए तो वैसे ही path से भटक गए ना. जो चीज़ मुझे अच्छी लगती है मैं वहाँ चली जाऊँगी, मेरा path भूल गई मैं. जो चीज़ नहीं अच्छी लगती है फिर मैं वहाँ से भागूंगी. So that's what he's saying, that and then the other very important thing he pointed out, Swamiji, is actually sense organs are also not a problem. Your mind is a problem, because sense organ just brings the data, mind decides, or the higher intellect. और अगर वो तुम lower mind में रहोगे, like likes and dislikes वाले mind में, which is a lower mind, and the higher mind is connected with the wisdom or intellect. If you lower mind में रहेंगे, there is a problem. So he's just saying that you have to process this at the level of the mind or intellect. That's where you have to process this, because likes and dislikes indriyon pe honge hi, because that's what we are born with. But processing you have to do there. That's what point he's bringing. And that's why in yoga you have that shama dhamma and all that. That's exactly what it is. That even if before you go shama dhamma asana, उसके बाद आता है बाकी प्राणायाम वगैरह भी बोलते, पहले करो ये shama, means discipline and all these things of indriyas and all that. So it is in line with the yogic thing and this jnana marg. Both are saying the exact same thing. Go ahead.
Having stated this truth, Krishna advises all seekers, let none come under their sway. The philosophy of the Gita does not suggest, even by implication, any kind of running away from the world of sense objects. Krishna's creed is to live here and now, in the midst of situations in life, in this very world, and to experience them through our sacred vehicles of the body, mind, and intellect. The only insistence is that on all occasions. A wise man should be a master of the vehicles and not a helpless victim of these matter envelopments. And the secret of this mastery in life is to live free from the tyrannies of attachments and aversions.
So he's very clearly saying that you don't have to run away from life or world, experience everything, but be alert and have a control over it. That's all he's saying. It's not like, the world is, मेरे को बहुत सता रहा है तो मैं गुफा में बैठ जाती हूँ, and then, I can do my sadhana over there. That's not what he's talking about. Go do your 100% duty, whatever it is in the marketplace, but, stay away from the tyrannies of attachment and aversion. That's what he's talking about. And here on the previous small paragraph, it's very important, like, let none come under their sway. So just remember, we have to memorize this thing, because this is what is like a foundation of what we're going to go forward in Bhagavad Gita, not come under its sway. Go ahead.
In order to detach ourselves from both our likes and dislikes, we have to get rid of our false egocentric vanities. Likes and dislikes belong to the ego. Therefore, all egoless acts, as we have explained earlier, accomplish a purgation of vasanas. Vasanas create the mind. Where the mind is, there revels the ego. To the extent the vasanas have been reduced, to that extent, the mind has become non-existent. Where the mind has ended, there the reflection of the consciousness called the ego has also ended.
So here, Kamlaji, you are there, right? I don't see you, but I know you have logged in. Are you there, Kamlaji?
Yes, I'm there.
See, this is the most beautiful explanation of ego. उन्होंने बता दिया सब कुछ जो आपने पूछा था प्रश्न वो इसमें आंसर है. That the ego, where the mind is, there revels the ego. Ego is only in the mind. It is nothing but a false reflection of that divine. That you are thinking it's an ego. So once you recognize the divine, the ego is gone already. And it resides in this thing, and your likes and dislikes are basically the ego. So these words, like ego and all that, they are very vast, but you have to understand it from every angle. But it's also a very simple thing, because it's a false notion in my head. All these likes and dislike also, what does it belong to? It belongs to the matter. It doesn't belong to that consciousness. So once more and more I contemplate that I am that consciousness, I will not be persecuted by the likes and dislikes and ego. That's what he's telling you. So you can catch it from any angle that you want to. But, this paragraph is a very good one to read several times and contemplate upon it if you want to understand what really ego is. Any question, comment, add a point, concern? Yes, Anilji.
Mind actually tries to protect you in the sense, if you have a very strong desire for something, mind will try its very best to fulfill that desire.
True.
So as long as you have very strong desires, and those desires are swaying you away from the path of righteousness, then your mind will make you do the wrong things.
True.
To achieve it.
Yeah, I think that you are right. And then, verse, अभी आएगा verse 36 में अर्जुन प्रश्न पूछेगा कि हमें मालूम होते हुए भी कि ये गलत काम हम क्यों करते हैं. तो एक कृष्ण भगवान ने बोल दिया लाइक्स एंड डिसलाइक. अब वो और साइंस में जाएंगे कि वो कैसे आता है और उसको मतलब why does a person do wrong thing and how to get over it. So he's going to go a little more deeper into it, and so we will see next week. Hopefully we'll cover that. But and the other thing is, one of the Swamis, the way he was explaining about ego is, ego will try to be alive. So what you're saying, Anilji, is true. Ego doesn't want to die. So ego is going to play a trick on you. हर एक टाइप का जस्टिफिकेशन देगा And that's where that higher knowledge that we learn from Bhagavad Gita or some scriptures or some guru, that comes in handy. Because you stay in that knowledge, and then you'll be able to get rid of ego. Otherwise, if we just ऐਵੇਂ ही चलते रहेंगे ना, it will definitely get stronger and stronger.
But there is a very strong connection between desires and ego.
Well, if you think about it, ego means desires.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think that I'm different and I think I'm the doer, तो उसी से desire आता है. अगर जो self realize हो जाता है ना, उसको बोलते हैं desire खत्म हो गई. It doesn't mean he is not doing anything in the world. He's doing it for lok sangraha. We all have to remember that word also. We have to memorize it. That do it for lok sangraha means, harmony of people और लोगों के कल्याण के लिए, जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, कल्याण के लिए. और चाहे फैमिली का कल्याण बोलो, चाहे सिटी का, और चाहे सब किसी का भी, just don't focus it on yourself. So desire, फिर when he talk about desire in Bhagavad Gita, is selfish desire. He's always telling you not to do. That's another very, very important thing we all in this class have to know. Desire equal to selfish desire यहाँ पे in Bhagavad Gita. If in the beginning, if you have some noble desire, it's perfectly fine. Slowly you will even get over it because you realize I'm not the doer, I'm an instrument. But in the beginning, what Swamiji recommends is selfish से unselfish में की यात्रा करो. फिर वो भी निकल जाएगा. That's what he's telling you. Does that make sense, Anilji? Any other person? Any question? Kamlaji, you are okay with the ego explanation here?
I'm still connecting the
dots.
Yeah.
That's good. As long as you are connecting, that's what matters. One day it will just get more and more clear. Okay. So if no other question, then I'll move to the next one. So next में actually काफी strong statement use करते हैं कृष्ण भगवान. Once in a while he uses very strong.
How ego is connected with your ambitions, your accomplishments, is there any role of ego in that part?
It can be, like I said, you can do your accomplishment with ego or without ego. So अगर आप में कोई क्षमता है कमला जी, वो तो फूट के बाहर आएगी. ओके लेकिन आप उसको ईगो सेंट्रिक ढंग से कर सकते हो या नॉन ईगो से कर सकते हो, लोक कल्याण के लिए कर सकते हो आप. अगर हम ऐसा सोचने लगे कि मुझे बहुत वाहवाही मिले, मुझे सभी लोग नमस्ते करें, मेरा नाम पेपर में नाम हो, वो तो फिर वो ईगो वाला हो गया. और you think that hey, I have this talent and I have this, whatever I want to do for the world, I'm doing it because God has given me this gift. God wants me to do it. तो फिर वो नॉन ईगो वाला हो जाता है. Very simply put. So you can definitely do things with ego or you do without ego. That choice you have to make it in your own heart.
But whenever we get those boost up, then we get motivated to work. So what is that part?
That also is it's coming from the ego, Kamlaji. If I start getting motivated because I'm getting वाहवाही and all that, उससे मैं आगे बढ़ रही हूँ, तो मैं definitely ego से आगे बढ़ रही हूँ. अभी एक है, जैसे कोई सिंगर को आप देखो, एक वो बहुत फेमस कहानी है, आप लोग ने सुनी है वो कहानी तानसेन की और तानसेन की और अकबर की. अकबर के दरबार में था ना वो तानसेन, वो गाता था, तो उसकी अकबर ने बहुत वाहवाही की. तो अकबर ने वो तानसेन ने बोला कि आप मेरी वाहवाही कर रहे हैं, आप मेरी गुरु को सुनोगे ना तो आप देखना क्या होता है. तो वो बहुत क्यूरियस हो गया. सुनिए आप लोग ने कहानी नहीं? तो वो बोला कि मेरे को सुनना है. तो अकबर ऑब्वियसली वांटेड सिंग. तानसेन इतना अच्छा गा रहा है, उसने दिए जला दिए वगैरह वगैरह गाने से, तो फिर इसका गुरु का तो मेरे को जाकर सुनना पड़ेगा. तो आई थिंक क्या नाम था उनका, रहीदास ऐसे करके था कुछ नाम. आई मे नॉट बी 100% करेक्ट, बट स्टोरी इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. तो वो उनको लेके जाता है अपने गुरु के आश्रम में और कहते हैं अच्छा बोलो गुरु को कि गाए. तो बोला नहीं ऐसे नहीं गाएगा मेरा गुरु. आपको ना थोड़ा पेशेंस रखना पड़ेगा, आपको गुरु को सुनना है तो फिर वो लोग रहते हैं वहाँ पर कहीं छुप के, एंड देन सुबह जब वो निकलता है बाहर गुरु, एंड देन ही सिंगिंग टू जस्ट आउट ऑफ जॉय, और उसकी जो सिंगिंग थी ना वो अकबर पानी पानी हो गया एकदम, बोला माय गॉड, मैं सोचता था तू है, ये तो तेरा तो बाप निकला एकदम। तो ही सेड हाउ डज ही डू दिस लाइक दैट? तो तानसेन बोला मैं आपके लिए गाता हूँ, और वो उसके लिए गाता है। He's not singing because he's getting some position or some thing. He's singing because he's connecting with God, and he's singing because that's a talent he has. He will sing. जब भी उसका मन प्रसन्न होता है तो वो गाना शुरू कर देता है, and then other people enjoy, and जो उसके आते हैं शिष्य वगैरह उनको सिखा देता है. That's the difference between ego and non-ego.
But then all the time we try to boost the ego of the people. By giving them prizes, by giving them comments, by giving them...
No, you are just encouraging the young kids and all that. But remember, I told you that you had the same question. When it comes to spiritual thing, it's a personal journey. So don't worry about like what others are doing or what. You don't unnecessarily boost the ego. You do it out of goodness of your heart. If you think something is great, by all means, give them the prize, do all that, because it's coming from your own happiness. And stay in that egoless thing, or work towards staying in egoless. दुनिया में क्या होता है उसको आप छोड़ दीजिए कमला जी, because I told you that this journey is very personal.
हमारा खुद का बिहेवियर भी तो ये होता है ना कि भाई अब किस तरह बिहेव करें. Should we do... हम भी लोगों को एनकरेज करते हैं, उनको उनके उसमें कमेटी में नाम लिखते हैं, उनका वो करते हैं, तो they get more motivated, they work harder, they do better.
Yeah, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a vyavaharik thing. And when it comes to ego, just sit down. When next time you sit in meditation, you ask yourself, what is your motivation to do things? And if you think it is egocentric, then go towards egolessness. That's all you can do, is your own sadhana you do. But, if you're in that position of your committee, it is your job to encourage people and all that. How they take it is their problem, internal problem. So don't worry about that. You do your job. And as far as your own personal thing is concerned, you will know in your own heart, when you investigate, once you know what is ego and what is non-ego, whether you are in it or not in it, and then go move towards that. Okay, so we can move this discussion to our later part, because I want to move forward. So the verse 35, everybody can open that. I'm going to chant that. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. Shreyan is better, swadharma, one's own duty, vigunaha, devoid of merit, paradharmat, then the duty of another, swanushthitat, then well discharged, swadharme, in one's own duty, nidhanam, death, shreyaha, better, paradharma, another's duty, bhayavaha, fraught with fear. So Krishna Bhagavan is saying over here that your own duty is better even though devoid of merit. Worldly sense में लग रहा होगा कि एकदम बेकार काम है, then the duty of another. अगर तुम्हारा जो स्वधर्म है, तुम्हारी जो ड्यूटी है, चाहे उसमें मेरिट दिखाई दे या ना दे, वो दूसरों के काम से बेटर है, बेसिकली, of another well discharged. Okay, better is death in one's own duty. Better is death in one's own duty. I mean, that's the strongest statement he made. चाहे तुम मर भी जाओ अपनी ड्यूटी में, वो बेटर है तुम्हारे लिए, then the duty of another, because duty of another is fraught with fear. Bhayavaha use किया उन्होंने word. It's like it's full of danger. There's one explanation, is full of danger. Basically what he's trying to say is किसी और की जो तुमको काम नहीं आता है ना, वो तुम करोगे तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा उसमें, और इट विल बी टेरेबल, यू विल बी फियरफुल इन डूइंग दैट. कि किसी डॉक्टर को लॉयर की ऑफिस में बिठा दो, यू नो, ही वोंट नो व्हाट टू डू. और किसी लॉयर को डॉक्टर के वहाँ बिठा दो, भयावह हो जाएगा ना उसके लिए. Just giving a gross example. Okay, so did I do the Sanskrit part? Not yet, right? Okay. Shreyan is better. Swadharma, one's own duty. Vigunaha is devoid. Huh?
You already did it.
Oh, that already did it. Never mind. So Swadharma is, what is the Swadharma word over here? Remember हम लोग ने एक word use किया था, स्वया प्रकृति, my own nature. It's the same context over here, Swadharma. So again, just like the word ego or the word shraddha or the word, some other words, dharma is also very loaded word. Very, very large connotation. And in what context it is said, very, very important to know in Bhagavad Gita. That, you know, what is this context in this particular verse is different than the context in other places. The highest level, dharma means a law of being. For example, that goes best by example, so I'll straight give the example. Dharma of sugar is to be sweet. Dharma of salt is to be salty. So अगर वो उसने sugar ने अपना धर्म छोड़ दिया तो वो sugar ही नहीं रहेगी. That's the highest, okay? And then there are other meaning of dharma, you know, righteousness, duty, all that. In this particular swadharma means तुम्हारा जो innate nature है, your own tendency that you're born with, and then if you take up your duty in that line, then that is your swadharma. That's what they're talking about over here, because that's very important to understand that what they are talking about it over here. So now he's saying that तुम्हारी प्रकृति में जो निहित है ना, तुम whatever tendencies and things you are born with, उसके लाइन में तुम अगर ड्यूटी करोगे, that is much better than suddenly changing it and going it against your nature. So यहाँ पर दो चीजें आ जाती है, okay? Don't mix those two things, because now you're going to say that, oh, Krishna Bhagwan said, don't come under your likes and dislikes and sway of your likes and dislikes. So what he's saying that when you choose your duty or whatever duty has come upon you according to your own nature, go on that path, or while going in the path, if some likes and dislikes come, then you don't come under his way. अगर शुरू से तुमने गलत पकड़ लिया तो हो जाएगा कि नहीं गड़बड़, और आधे रास्ते में जाके तुम बोलो, like, you know, sometimes यहाँ पर बोलते हैं ना ABCD, American born confused desis, you know, like, oh, I don't know what to do, you know. My friend is saying become an engineer, my parents are saying become a doctor, and somebody else, or that college looks very good and I go there, they don't think about, hey, what is that I'm good at, you know. So that's where we have to understand this, otherwise there will be a lot of confusion. So basically Arjun ke sath kya hua, because now we are Arjun ka context hai isme, and then that's how we learn through Arjun. Arjun was a Kshatriya, and he was always fighting wars, and that was his job. He was doing a fantastic job. Suddenly this war comes, not suddenly, this war comes in front of him, and he's all ready to fight. Usko moh ho gaya. Abhi bolta hai main jaake meditation karunga. You see that? Now he wants to sit in the gufa and become a Swami. So, and Krishna Bhagwan usko bolte hai, you won't be able to. अभी तेरे को लग रहा है कि मैं भाग जाऊं और वहां बैठ जाऊं. Moment you're going to sit in the gufa, you're going to think about the war only. So that's what you're good at. And do you think that एक जगह पे स्वामी जी ने बोला, चिन्मयानंद जी ने, कि अगर उसको हिमालय पे भेज भी दो ना, तो वो तलवार निकाल लेगा वहां पे और पेड़ों को काटना शुरू कर देगा गुस्से में, because उसको याद आएगा कि oh my God, I had this opportunity to kill these bad guys and I didn't do it. उसको इतना गुस्सा आ जाएगा. That's what it is, that, you know, he won't be able to sit in the gufa, because उसको गुफा भी डरावनी लगने लगेगी थोड़ी देर के बाद. That's what the bhayava means. So that is the context over here, because otherwise it can be a little confusing that what Krishna Bhagwan is saying. And one of the Swamis brought very important point. He said ki एक टाइगर भी अपना धर्म नहीं छोड़ता है, अगर वो उसकी जो प्रकृति है, चाहे कोई दूसरा के बोले वो कितना हिंसक है ये, दिस इज नॉट अ गुड थिंग ही शुड बी डूइंग, ही शुड बी किलिंग द अदर एनिमल्स एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, वो नहीं छोड़ेगा अपना, वो दैट इज प्रकृति, and that's what he was born with. So that's what he's telling you, that तुम्हारा जो मेन थिंग है तुम वही ड्यूटी करो और किसी और की कॉपी मारना शुरू करना बंद कर दो. And the Swami said that in today's world, individuality is going away. People are making Xerox copy. एक स्कूल में जाएंगे तो सभी को वैसी डिग्री, वैसी समथिंग लाइक एकदम स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दिया है. ह्यूमन बींग्स आर नॉट लाइक दैट. We are all different, and he went as far as explaining even our paths for spirituality are different. He said, even though we may say, oh मैं ज्ञान मार्ग जाती हूँ, मैं कर्म मार्ग जाती हूँ, मैं ऐसे ब्रॉड तुमने उसका एक लेबल दे दिया, उस ब्रॉड लेवल में भी डिफरेंसेस होता है कि नहीं. ज्ञान मार्ग में किसी को गीता पसंद है, किसी को उपनिषद दूसरे पसंद है, किसी को कुछ. आजकल तो इतने सारे स्वामीज हैं, and some person likes to listen to one person, another likes to listen to another person, and